Hello everybody and welcome back to the tutorial to Supreme Ruler 2020. So last time I did a two-part series where I showcased two major things to do with it in two parts, and I did it fairly quickly. But this time I'm going to do it in a mini-part series, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts actually. Don't be fooled. There will be 9 parts in this entire thing. 8 of these parts are going to highlight each of the buttons on the ring and what they do and how they affect things. And the last part will be, well, just wrapping up any loose ends that I might have missed, such as maybe the game menu, as well as the stuff over here. And if I don't get to it, as well as the scorecard and how that works and what it all means for you and your nation. So I'm playing as England. This is my second largest, second most successful file next to the South African file. The South African file has taken pretty much all of the world. Now the reason I don't use that file is because it is very, very laggy for recording. It's not too bad when I'm not recording, but it is quite laggy for recording. So, and we're going to go to America for this. Good old San Francisco. San Francisco Bay Area. So the first tab is the Land tab, and the Land tab does exactly what you'd think it would. It goes over all the land and all this kind of things. Now, over here, for the entire duration, you have civilian, industrial, military, and other. And other is just... there's never anything in other. I don't know why other exists. I was going to say other might have to do with aerospace fabrications and like orbital pads and stuff like that, but it's not listed in mine, and I do have a satellite and orbital launch pad in Florida. So that is not what that is. As far as I know, I have literally everything in the game built somewhere in my nation, so there's nothing in other at all. It's kind of weird. But anyway, so basically what this is, civilian shows you all of your towns in alphabetical order, as well as, well, how many there, what is in it as well. So you'll notice there's a 1 here, and there's one thing in the town of Aiken. Same with this town here. I don't know how to pronounce that town, but you can see there's one thing in here as well. And unfortunately, it does not tell you what said thing is. That is kind of a setback, but it shows you the population of the town, and of course everything else with it and stuff. And it does show on, oh actually no, it does, sorry. It shows power coal and goods industrial, so it shows on the side here what is being built in that town. Now Albany, for example, where there's 5, it's not going to show, so that's kind of a shame. But you can see now there's 5 things in Albany, so that's really what that is. And we can go back up here. Industrial, same sort of deal. It shows industrial complexes and what is in said industrial complexes. For example, this is Belleville, and it has 2 nuclear power plants, as well as most of these. Again, these are all in alphabetical order, so you can find Diablo Canyon. That's very interesting. Also, if you double click on it, I forgot to mention, it does take you to wherever this is. So Diablo Canyon is actually not too far away from San Francisco, which is interesting. Let's go to somewhere that's probably somewhere else. Hatch? No, that's East Coast. So it took me all the way to the East Coast. I'm going to go back to San Francisco. So yeah, that's basically the same thing with that. Military, again, is the same thing. It's military complexes and what is in said military complexes. So if I want to go to Aktau, for example, I double-click it, and it takes me to Aktau, which is in former Russia. So I'm going to go back over here to San Francisco. And again, other would have the other thing, but there literally is no other. So I don't really know what to tell you. Okay, so if we come over here for a moment, you can see there are complex details. Wherever you click, it's going to show you the X and Y coordinate, although I've never actually had the X and Y coordinate ever come in handy, ever. So it really doesn't matter, to be honest. So yeah, and basically what this tab is it has the central thing, so civilian, industrial, military complex, and what's built around it. So if we go, just for an example, let's go to Almeida, which is a military complex, and it comes up here. has the military complex here as well, and you can build a new complex, but that's kind of pointless. You can just build a new complex anyway. So if I click build new facility, it's going to ask me what I want to build. So let's say I want to build a fortification. Click on that, and then click, and then it starts building said fortification. So it's kind of interesting. All right, and as well, if you go into your fortification here, it shows the building process, but I'll explain that here in a minute. So back to Almeida. So yeah, it shows that, and if you click on each thing of that, it brings up the condition. It's active at 100%, so it has not been attacked recently. If it was attacked, it would be like 85% or whatever percent. Current build, and it would say condition, it would say building, as you can see there. And it shows the operating cost and how much military staff is currently employed. Now, it does say that for all, but it does say different things for towns, and again, I will show you that in a moment. This is just for military complexes. And you can also, excuse me, my voice is going. You can also adjust garrisons. So if you want more garrisons, you click the Add Garrison button. If you want less garrisons, you click negative. And the green garrisons mean that they are coming, but not quite there. So as you can see, it says Organized Defense Garrisons. How much it costs, how many soldiers are in a garrison, and their efficiency, as well as how many have requested and how many are active. Now, after a certain amount of time, they will become active, and the questing will go down. And also, if a complex is currently attacked or under attack by anything, they will go red. And the red basically means that they were recently attacked and are trying to repair, and that they are damaged and trying to repair. So that is what that means. So we're going to bring that back down. And yeah, so that is that. And we can actually, on the arrow keys up here, you can go to the next one in the list in alphabetical order as well. So it will go to military complexes since I had selected a military complex with Almeida. Alright, so an industrial complex is exactly the same thing. It has the industrial complex, the population, condition, operating cost, military staff, and the garrisons and no garrisons, as well as, of course, build new complex. If you go to, however, the only real difference with this is when you click on the individual things. It shows you, for example, for this one, it shows you composite ore or agriculture, which is or waterworks, which is also here. And what it does for all industrial buildings, so as you can see, agriculture and waterworks don't really have it, but anything that consumes anything, it shows what it consumes, so petroleum and power. So if you build one of these, you need petroleum and you need power as well to be able to power it, and you can review the production of that in another tab, which we will go over on another day. And of course, you can decommission and deactivate the facility, which is also works for this as well. And basically what this is you can deactivate it, which means that it's no longer active, but it still exists. You can activate it if you click again. And decommissioning facility means that you are going to scrap or destroy. If you scrap it, you get some of the stuff back. You get some metal and whatnot back. If you just destroy it, it destroys it pretty well instantly. But actually does destroy it instantly, sorry. But you don't get anything back from it. So, and with military complexes as well, if it is an airfield, barracks, or sea pier, you can make that a rally point for troops and review the reserves that are in said thing, which again we will go over another day. Right, back to our thing here. So yeah, it also says if it's active and how much the operating cost is and what it produces, which is metal ore for this, water for this, and agriculture for this. It also has the activate and deactivate as well as decommission. And yeah. So civilian is fairly the same. It shows you the population, shows you the condition, shows you how much it costs to operate it, how much military staff, has the garrison thing as well. Of course, you can build power or pretty much anything, actually, military goods, whatever you want to produce in a city area. Some things will not build over a city. I find oil and gas will not, and a few other things that I kind of forget right now, but we'll get to that again at some point. And yeah, so military goods, you can see here, consumes multiple things, and it produces military goods. So you need to kind of keep that on a constant basis. So if you have a lot of military goods, you better have a lot of electrical power, coal, petroleum, and metal ore, and or be able to buy it and import it. So, and right now England can afford many imports. So, yeah. All right. So that's everything with that tab. Let's go to the military presence tab, which is the second tab on this here. And basically what this is a military presence in a certain area. So, for example, if I click on San Francisco, it says what military units are in San Francisco currently. Right now I have a submarine with rocket capabilities in San Francisco. Really, honestly, all this stuff that comes up really does not matter that much, except for transportation, ships, and aircraft. That kind of does matter. I find most of it doesn't, though. I don't really pay attention to it. But anyway, so yeah, and then it shows the population of San Francisco, how much supply is in it, which again is indicated by the colors that I have. So the thicker and more dense and just the less transparent the color, the more supply. So you can see in San Francisco it's fairly heavy with supply, or somewhere that's not. Yeah, here on the lake you can see it's a little bit lighter and whatnot, so that indicates less supply. It also shows the loyalty. So this was California at one point. That is who they are loyal to, even though they no longer exist. Basically what that shows, really, it doesn't really seem to matter much after you take the country. So this was the country of California at one point because the states were split up. It matters when you are still at war with the place and you take this city over. It means that their loyalty is still to the government that still exists, and they can partisan units, which is just rebels, that take the town over and you can lose it, which can be very detrimental to taking a country, especially when it's a critical city like something like San Francisco Bay Area. But I find afterwards it doesn't really cause me any problems. It also says the terrain, so San Francisco is on a wide river terrain. And it also says close combat / low visibility. So basically on many areas it'll tell you the terrain, and which also can help you with certain things. So here it's close combat, low visibility. So there's going to be a lot of close combat, not a lot of visibility, so units are going to take more damage. Same thing with this, light forest. Now if I go here to mountain, it's high ground. So if I'm up here and enemy units are down here, I have the advantage, and my troops are going to take less damage, and they're going to take more damage because I have the high ground. And that's, yeah. Some places like semi-desert don't have anything like that, and you know, not everything has that. It's just certain terrains have certain things. Generally, it is just like foresty areas and high ground hills that have the terrain difference. That literally is it. And also from the military units, you can not really do anything. It doesn't really matter. It just tells you what units are there. So, yeah. And third one, map filters. This is fairly important, actually. I currently have map supply overlay enabled and nothing else. I honestly consider that one to be the best. If I take that off, you can see it just comes to a normal world map. So this is a line of sight. It doesn't really matter in this because I have Fog of War on, but it literally just shows me my line of sight, which, you know, doesn't matter all too much. Yeah, it really doesn't matter that too much because in this I do have Fog of War off. This is ownership overlay, so it shows who owns what. The only difference here is that, as you can see with the lake, it's all solid instead of where if it was supply, it's kind of dotted, and that's just because it's showing that. And now if we take that off and go loyalty, this shows the former countries and stuff that I took over, so pretty much the loyalty to everything. You can see where Utah used to be, and Nevada, and you can see where California was. You can see where all the states and stuff was before I took it over. So you can really see who's loyal to who and where all the states used to be and all this kind of whatnot. So, wait, really, that's my land? Whose land is that? Maryland, England. Oh, I see the border. Okay. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, you can see all the loyalty and who used to own what. Again, it's kind of useful, but it's not really useful. It's kind of nice when you have like a map like this to see how like crappy it is now. But this shows garrisons, so there's a lot of garrisons in certain places. There's not in some. It shows you who has garrisons and who doesn't. So, for example, that has 3, so that's darker than this one, which only has 1. and this has none in it at all. So it can kind of show you, like, if you're going to war with certain people, where you need to kind of garrison up, and it's kind of useful in that respect. But otherwise, it's not all too useful. This is terrain information, so I can turn that back on now. High ground, it shows close combat and low visibility terrain. This is defensive, so the darker the red, or the lighter the red, I should say, or whatever. You know what I mean? The more solid red is where you're going to have the best defense. So in towns, obviously, is high, and as I said, like, the high ground is just better. This is water location. Shows you where the coastline is, as well as where major rivers are. And this is grid. And grid can be kind of useful, but not really. I don't find it all too useful for most things. But it can kind of show you in some areas, like, where the land is and where you can only build, like, water structures. So it's kind of useful, but kind of not. And now I come down to resources, which again is the same thing. If I click that, it shows you where agriculture is, and the darker the red, the more agriculture is there, and the larger of a agriculture thing I can build. Same goes for water. So you can see here along the river, there's a lot of water, timber, and again, you can see in the Northern California area where there's more forest, there's going to be more timber. Petrol, some in the Midwest. This is coal. This is metal ore. You can see it's showing where metal ore is. Uranium, which surprisingly enough, the States has uranium. Electrical power. So this very specifically shows where you can get power from water and hydro power. It does not show, because I can build a coal plant here and it'll produce power for me, except the waterways of power produce more power. And of course, population overlay. So the darker red is the more population. If you go to the East Coast, is where you're probably going to see more of that than anywhere else. You can see the red there. It's kind of difficult to see with my color. Can I go to a country that... Who has... No. We'll take all that off. There we go. See, there's a lot of red here in Egypt because it's high population. So, and then you can just hit the cancel button and it cancels it all out. And that's it for that. Now let's go to this. This is land development. Now basically, all this really does, to be honest, you can click all that. It shows you civilian stuff, what you can build. It's civilian, industrial, military, and other stuff. That is what you can build. So you can select what to build. So you can build agriculture. You click on agriculture. It shows you where there's a lot of agriculture, and also lets you build. So I can build agriculture right there if I would like to. And then you can right click and it deselects it all. It also shows you what the population is going to be on the side here, how much supply there is there. The more supply, the faster it's going to build for you, as well as the loyalty, which again doesn't really matter that much. So yeah, that's really all that tab shows. And this is your transportation. This is roads and railways. I find roads are useful because troops travel over roads, not rails. Rails are sort of useful in certain areas because they do build faster than roads, and units can travel along them. They're just a little bit slower. Not as slow as traveling over just land, but still slower than roads. I would recommend building roads. As you can see, my roads are more than double my total rails, as well as maintenance is much, much higher. So again, if you can't afford to maintenance your roads, don't build them. Build rails or build nothing. You don't need a road to every damn town. That is not needed. For example, this city here, South Lake Tahoe, is close enough to a road in Carson City or up in here, and is heavily enough supplied where it does not matter. I do not need a road there. My troops are going to travel through there just fine and have no issues. But certain areas you are going to need, such as around here, for example. If it's low supply or whatever like that, and there's a town in the middle of fucking nowhere, build a road across. That's just common sense. Now, it also lets you build rails. And as you can see, it shows you how many days, 97 days, distance 0 kilometers, and you can select by clicking. You can drag then wherever the fuck you want. And it's going to show you, for example, how long it's going to build and how much it's going to cost, as you can see just below build rail. So the longer I put that out, the more it's going to cost. And the days technically go up and down based on both length but also supply. So, for example, if I'm building here close to the road where there's some, more supply than out in the middle of nowhere, it's going to take less time to build. But it's unfortunately going to keep on costing me a shit ton of money because it's a long-ass railroad. It also tells you the distance, which is kind of cool. So let's build from, just for shits and giggles, let's build from there to there. And that's it. Same thing goes with the roads, except roads are more expensive to build. So yeah. And yeah, that's just how it is. So, and that's pretty much it for that tab. So the land tab is finished, guys. Next time we're going to go on to production, and we'll go down the line like that, and I'm going to make a playlist for all of these so you guys can put all these together. I'll also put the basic tutorials probably at the end, the two that I've made already. Put those at the end of that playlist as well if you guys want to just like a kind of like a quick recap is really what that is to it, but these will be a little bit more in depth. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Like my Facebook page if you'd like to see some posts and pictures and whatnot of what I'm doing and stuff. Plus, it's just better updates and whatnot too. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.